Right now, if you need surgery, you'll be unconscious, pain-free, and remember nothing when you wake up. That simple reality is barely 200 years old. For most of human history, surgery meant being fully awake while someone cut into your body, with nothing to stop the pain except being held down by other people. Patients bit down on leather straps or wooden blocks. Surgeons were judged by speed, not precision, because a faster amputation simply meant less time in agony. This is the story of how humans finally ended that. Ancient civilizations tried everything they could find. Egyptian medical texts describe using opium poppy extract to dull pain during procedures. Ancient Chinese physicians experimented with cannabis mixed into wine. In parts of South America, coca leaves were chewed or applied to wounds for a mild numbing effect. None of these came close to eliminating pain during actual surgery. They dulled the edges at best, and even then, dosing was pure guesswork, with no way to know how much was too little or dangerously too much. By the medieval period, European surgeons sometimes used something called a soporific sponge, soaked in a mixture of opium, mandrake root, and other plant extracts, held under a patient's nose before cutting began. It occasionally worked. It also occasionally killed people, since the line between a sedating dose and a fatal one was razor thin, and nobody had any reliable way to measure it precisely. For centuries, that was essentially it. Surgery remained something people avoided at almost any cost, reserved only for emergencies where death was otherwise certain. Amputations, tumor removals, and difficult childbirths were performed with patients fully conscious, restrained by assistants, screaming through the entire procedure. Surgeons developed reputations based purely on how quickly they could operate, because speed was the only mercy available. The real breakthrough started with a gas nobody initially took seriously. In 1799, English chemist Humphry Davy experimented with nitrous oxide, discovering it produced euphoria and reduced sensitivity to pain. He even suggested in writing that it might be useful during surgical operations. Almost nobody acted on this idea for decades. Instead, nitrous oxide became popular as a party drug at so-called laughing gas demonstrations, where audiences watched volunteers stumble around giggling for entertainment, completely missing the medical potential sitting right in front of them. That changed because of a dentist. In 1844, Horace Wells, an American dentist, attended one of these laughing gas shows and noticed something crucial. A volunteer under the gas's influence injured his leg badly and didn't react to the pain at all. Wells immediately saw the medical application everyone else had missed. He tried nitrous oxide during his own dental procedures with real success, but a poorly documented public demonstration in Boston failed when the gas dose was inconsistent, and Wells was publicly ridiculed, his reputation seriously damaged. But the idea refused to die. A former student of his, William Morton, began experimenting with a different substance entirely, ether. On October 16, 1846, Morton administered ether to a patient named Edward Gilbert Abbott at Massachusetts General Hospital, while surgeon John Collins Warren removed a tumor from Abbott's neck. Abbott felt nothing. He remained calm throughout the entire procedure. The room, packed with skeptical doctors expecting the usual screaming, went completely silent, and this moment is now remembered in medical history as Ether Day. News spread almost immediately across the world. Within a single year, ether anesthesia was being used in hospitals across Europe, and doctors quickly realized this changed absolutely everything about what surgery could accomplish. Operations that used to be finished in under 2 minutes, purely to minimize agony, could now take the actual time required for careful, precise work. Surgeons could finally slow down. Chloroform followed shortly after, offering another anesthesia option, and gained a major public boost in 1853 when Queen Victoria herself used it during childbirth, effectively ending most remaining social stigma around using it. Over the following decades, anesthesia techniques were steadily refined, becoming safer, more precise, and far more controllable than the crude sponges and inconsistent gas doses of previous centuries. So here's the full picture. For thousands of years, surgery meant enduring unimaginable pain, with success measured by how fast a surgeon's hands could move. Then, within the span of roughly 1 century, humans went from opium-soaked sponges to precisely dosed ether, transforming surgery from a horrifying last resort into something safe, deliberate, and survivable. The next time you're wheeled into an operating room and quietly drift into unconsciousness, remember what it took to get there. Centuries of guesswork, one ignored gas, a ridiculed dentist, and one silent room in Boston that changed medicine forever.